It's time for a daily dose of cope. And Lola Leopard here has a face that's saying, did we own the libs yet? And this is an important question because many did vote to trigger the libs or own the libs. And now they are losing money for it. And I am here for that. Let's jump into some of these stories. We're going to start out with some MAGA voters in Southern California. This is an article from CBS saying, Southern California community pleading for help after Trump administration pulls federal funding. Recognize I know that California is a blue state, but it does have a major conservative demographic out there. And these people did vote for Trump, and they voted to have this FEMA funding pulled. Residents in the Rancho Palos Verdes have been living in fear that one day their homes might slide down the edge of the slope. Just when they thought they were going to be receiving funds to help, it got ripped away. In August 2023, Rancho Palos Verdes was awarded a $23 million grant from FEMA to slow down the Portuguese Bend landslide. But in April 2025, FEMA abruptly canceled the nearly $5 billion Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities program nationwide, saying in a press release it was wasteful and ineffective. CBS Los Angeles has reached out to the White House for a response to the funding cut and is waiting for a response. It was a bold shift from what Mr. Trump said on his campaign trail in September last year at the Trump National Golf Course. I want to express my support to all the families affected by the landslides of Rancho Palos Verdes, Mr. Trump said last September. Listen to this part. John Kolick is a longtime Trump supporter whose construction company built the road outside of Trump National Golf Course in Rancho Palos Verdes, along with some other projects. He hasn't done very good on that promise. I like some of the other issues that he's taking care of, but of course, I wish he would support the neighborhood. Even though Kolick feels the president hasn't held up his end of the promise, it hasn't changed his support for him. Kolick has brought in about 10,000 cubic yards of dirt to shore up his property that sits in the canceled grant zone. So he has the capacity to build up his property, but everybody doesn't have that type of capacity. But he voted for this person that said, we don't need FEMA. John Cruikshank was the Rancho Palos Verde mayor when then candidate Mr. Trump made that campaign promise. John Cruikshank was the Rancho Palos Verde mayor when the then candidate Mr. Trump made that campaign promise. We have about 600 homes. Several thousand residents have been affected, Cruikshank said at the time. The former mayor, who's a civil engineer, said the federal grant would have been a force multiplier, providing more equipment to the water extraction systems the city has been funding on its own with measurable success. The land at its worst was moving about 50 feet per year, and now it's currently about 20 feet per year in the worst areas, Cruikshank said. Some of the areas aren't moving at all anymore. The Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities program was originally created in 2018 during Mr. Trump's first term to help vulnerable communities with natural disasters like hurricanes and floods. CBS News analysis of FEMA data found 86 grants were previously awarded in California, worth about $1.14 billion for projects like retrofitting and fire prevention. Nearly 95% have been canceled. Dave Bradley, the current mayor, says his city isn't being singled out because BRIC grants have been canceled across the country, while the federal government has its hands full. He says the canceled grants would have a ripple effect on the president's golf course. It's one of the primary routes that people use to get to the golf course, so if PV Drive South was impassable, I would expect it would have a negative effect. In less than 2 years, the city has dipped into its reserves, spending nearly $50 million on repaving this stretch of road, sometimes twice a day, just a couple of miles from Mr. Trump's golf course. Why the hell are we talking about his golf course? Like, people's houses are about to slip and fall into the ocean, and they're like, maybe we can get to him by talking about his golf course. If I could speak to Mr. Trump today, I would say, sir, when you were out here and you saw the landslide a year ago, I hope you remember what you saw because we really are in need here, Bradley said. Both the mayor and the former mayor are registered Republicans who are cautiously optimistic that Washington will step in to help. I saw this post in the Leopards Ate My Face subreddit and had to look it up. So it was titled, "He Hurt Himself in His Confusion." And they give us the Guardian headline saying, "Trump signs executive orders targeting woke AI models and regulations." And then here's a quote. It says, "Federal government should be hesitant to regulate AI models in the private marketplace." And then right here it says, South Park said, "Okay, bet." And now Donald Trump is like, "Wait, not fair. I'll sue you." The person that posted this captioned it with, "Donald Trump tried to help his tech bro buddies by deregulating AI, saying that the government shouldn't interfere with whatever corporations or private citizens do with AI. So South Park made an AI version of Trump just to make him mad, and now Trump can't do anything about it. So Trump enacted new laws that are now hurting him, aka the leopard ate his own face." And then the same person posted this meme. Here we have Joe Biden on. It looks like Joe Biden is tied up. And a MAGA supporter is like, "Ha ha ha, that's hilarious." But then one of the scenes in South Park is Trump sitting up and chilling in bed naked with Satan. And they're like, "That's hate speech." This South Park episode just got him good. Is this that bad? Absolutely not. But it makes it clear that this episode is only about Donald Trump and Donald Trump only. This next picture is pretty bad. We know Donald Trump is a narc, so the fact that people are laughing at him, I know really gets under his skin. So we are going to continue laughing at him. The OP shares another meme sighing, "Sigh, I can't stay mad at such sexy kids," and then shares a picture of all of the kids on South Park. This is all so bad. Everybody is laughing at Donald Trump right now. Look at the makeup and the lack of blending. He is a joke. MAGA people voted in a joke because MAGA people are a joke. And MAGA people only clutching at their pearls because of the Jeffrey Epstein file. But with everything else that he has done, they were okay with. Now this is just a bridge too far. Let's get to this Guardian article. It says, "Trump signs executive orders targeting woke AI models and regulations. Crackdown would streamline the building of data centers and remove environmental protections." Trump on Wednesday signed a trio of executive orders that he vowed would turn the United States into an AI export powerhouse, including one targeting what the White House described as woke AI models. During remarks at an AI summit in Washington, Trump decried woke Marxist lunacy in the AI models before signing the orders on stage at the Mellon Auditorium. "Once and for all, we're getting rid of woke. Is that okay?" Trump said, drawing loud applause from the audience of AI industry leaders. Then he asserted that his predecessor, Joe Biden, had established toxic diversity, equity, and inclusion ideology as a guiding principle of American AI development. "So you immediately knew that was the end of your development," he said, eliciting laughter. The new order requires any artificial intelligence company receiving federal funding to maintain politically neutral AI models free of ideological dogmas such as DEI, putting pressure on an industry increasingly seeking to partner with government agencies. It is part of the Trump administration's broader anti-diversity campaign. Anti-diversity campaign that has also targeted federal agencies, academic institutions, and the military. While the directive emphasizes that the federal government should be hesitant to regulate the functionality of AI models in the private marketplace, it asserts that public procurement carries the obligation not to procure models that sacrifice truthfulness and accuracy to ideological agendas. The metrics of what make an AI model politically biased are contentious and open to interpretation, however, and therefore may allow the administration to use the order to target companies at its discretion. So it could be willy-nilly, just as Trump is willy-nilly and targets people. It is wild that people thought that this was going to be a good idea, but I'm glad that South Park is using its influence for good. What is Trump going to be able to do, especially since he opened the door, no more woke? It would be woke to try to silence them, right? We have a regretful voter. This man posted in the centrist subreddit saying, I also regret my vote for Trump. He says, I voted for Trump in 2024. It took a lot in me to do it, but I did it. I live in Nashville, so I voted for Trump up top, and I actually voted blue all the way down. I am not a huge fan of Tennessee Republicans. I find them too extreme. Oh, okay, but Trump is not extreme at all. All right, he says, I would consider myself similar to a Northeastern Republican or a 90s Democrat. He says, I voted the day of. I could have early voted, but I chose not to because I just couldn't decide what to do. I didn't plan to vote for Harris for a variety of reasons that I'll explain, but it was either Trump or third party. The day of, I chose Trump. I watched the debate between Trump and Harris, and just like most people thought, Trump absolutely got his butt beat by Harris. She came off strong, prepared, looked great up there, but I just didn't hear anything new that she was looking to bring to the table that were fresh ideas, and she had been the VP for Joe, and I wasn't very happy with Joe Biden's presidency, in all honesty. Didn't think it was awful, but it wasn't great either. When I watched the DNC, I didn't really see much other than the party turning away from everyday citizens who are looking for a bright future, and instead it seemed like the DNC was open to big business and corporate donors. And right now, that's totally not Trump. He is totally not up for big business and corporate donors. I'm all against political parties being bought and paid for, so it turned me off to the Democrats. Okay. Oh, y'all. Nutrition is a huge thing for me. I felt RFK joining forces with Trump and talking about getting rid of nitrates, phosphates, corn syrup, seed oils, etc., and trying to reduce the cancer rates and going after corporations who are poisoning our foods every day. He really believes in RFK. Okay. I felt Trump would calm down the Ukraine-Russia conflict, and Trump would use his relationship to Putin to basically say, stop this stuff and create a calmer world for us, and would also work to fix the debt this country is facing, lower inflation, transparency on Epstein files, and bring plenty of jobs back to the U.S. Even though everything that he listed just there, oh man, it is absolutely atrocious right now. Oh, but here's where things went south. Not all of that other stuff that's been absolutely atrocious. It's the Epstein files. Guy thinks we're stupid. He campaigns on the Epstein files, realizes he's on there, and now is telling us to stop worrying about it and questioning why we're still talking about it. Now they're trying to deflect by talking about Obama. This is embarrassing. Getting rid of the Department of Education. I know he brought this up during his campaign, but I thought he'd be sensible. Sensible enough to work across the aisle with Democrats on this matter, but this is insane. He wanted to shut down the Department of Education with no backup plan other than let the states figure it out. I don't know if I necessarily trust Republicans when it comes to education these days. The big, beautiful bill, an abhorrently terrible bill that only helps people in the top tax bracket to save money on federal taxes that they don't need. I make between $51,000 and $100,000 a year, and I would only save $800 on taxes, but the highest tax brackets will save thousands. Why? I could use $5,000 back more than someone who owns a home or two, and the bottom bracket will pay more in taxes. This was by far the worst bill, and it benefits the rich and not the working class, young people like myself who voted for Trump. Tariffs. What the F is this guy thinking why the F is this guy thinking other countries will pay more? Why did you vote for him when he was talking about tariffs in his campaign? We're the ones having to foot the cost. This is making things more expensive for us. And people up top brag the U.S. has brought in higher amounts of revenue, but it's from our own people, not even other countries. Yes, that's how tariffs work. Immigration. I'm a traveler. I've been to many countries, and when you overstay your welcome, immigration will come to your door and ask you to leave. So I get that. If you're in this country and you've overstayed your visa or are not documented, you have to head back and come back the right way. My dad is an immigrant, did all the right things, and he's here and can vote. It should be the same for everyone. But when immigration is coming and going after citizens and not doing their due diligence and checking backgrounds and citizenship, and they're just assuming they're illegal, then that's a massive red flag. Trump is basically telling these guys they have free will to do whatever, and it's messed up. Alligator Alcatraz and the living conditions there is ridiculous. I will absolutely be voting all blue come the midterms and will be voting for a sensible Democrat next election. This guy has ruined it for me. Happy to answer questions in the comments. P.S. I know this is Reddit and people here are not always centrist and probably very left-leaning. So if you ask questions in good faith, I'll respond. Otherwise, I'll skip. The thing is, Trump talked about getting rid of the Department of Education. The taxes that he did right now in this big, beautiful bill, he set up the rich in his first term. Why is anybody even thinking that he's going to do anything other than for rich donors this term? All of this crap that this man did, and people like this man, they have screwed everything up, and it's cool that they're going to vote against Republicans in the midterms. But all of this nothing that he said against Kamala Harris, was even, it wasn't even this bad. The thing is, when government is working, it's not as loud. They're just doing things. They had infrastructure going. They were working to lower medicine prices, drug prices. They were working to create jobs. Trump is looking to destroy jobs. He's looking to destroy the cost gains that people were getting. He's looking to take people off of healthcare, and that is going to destroy lives. So everything that these MAGA voters voted for is disgusting. And now but they still need to blame it on the Democrats. The fact that he's talking about the DNC and it's being bought and sold as if Republicans are not bought and sold, that is one of the worst excuses that I can even think of. Let's look at a couple of these comments. This person says, you lost me at I felt RFK joining forces with Trump could be anything other than an effing disaster. And you actually thought that Trump had influence over Putin. Shinbreaker says, all these RFK Jr. people showed their butts because they can't comprehend medical studies. And then Age, Sex, Location says, this is the effect that manosphere and political comedian podcast grifters had on people. It's got all of the big hitters and conspiratorial health fear-mongering, like seed oils. There isn't significant scientific evidence that seed oils are bad for you. Nobody is suggesting they're actually good for you either, which is why you shouldn't mainline canola or corn oil. Most anything is bad for you in large enough doses. Vitamin A poisoning comes with a range of debilitating symptoms like vision loss and brittle skin, but I don't see any of these people ranting about banning carrots. It's also frustrating and exhausting that the do your own research crowd can't actually do any effing research to save their own lives. These people, they absolutely disgust me because Trump campaigned on tariffs and now they're like, oh my God, tariffs are raising the prices and we pay. We know that. That's why y'all are so effing exhausting. We're all paying more. And yes, when I hear Trump bloviating and gloating over all the money that America is bringing in from tariffs, I get disgusted because I know that it is us, the American people, that are paying more in taxes, basically taxes because of these stupid tariffs.